Welcome to Midday. Your news at noon starts now.
Afternoon, and thanks for joining us on Midday. I'm Renae Skinner. We are receiving breaking news out of Huntsville, Alabama this half hour. A North Alabama military post says on social media it is on lockdown amid reports of a possible active shooter telling workers to run, hide, and fight. Redstone Arsenal received reports of a person possibly armed with a weapon at a building on the base. So far, no injuries or casualties have been confirmed, I should say. A safety drill was planned for Wednesday, but the report of a shooter was not part of any exercise. More than 30,000 government employees, civilians, and contractors work daily at Redstone. We'll update you as soon as more info becomes available. Also new this afternoon, 2 women are recovering today after reportedly being attacked near Sturgis. One victim has a stab wound. The other spent the night in the woods hiding from her alleged attacker. Now 41-year-old James Thomas Gregg is charged with aggravated assault and possession of paraphernalia. Oktibbeha County deputies were called about a disturbance on Mabin-Sturgis Road and Simmons Road. Around 6 Monday evening, a 40-year-old woman from Mathiston was found with a stab wound in her arm. The other victim, a 36-year-old woman from Sturgis, ran into the woods to get away from Gregg. Investigators say she was found about a mile away early this morning off Big Creek Road. Gregg was arrested at his Simmons Road home last night. Other charges are expected to be filed. Well, in our area, the investigation is not over after an attempted armed robbery in Columbus sends one person to jail. 37-year-old Jeffrey Cawley from Aliceville, Alabama, is charged with armed robbery, shooting into an occupied dwelling, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. On June 24th, Columbus police responded to 19th Street North after an armed robbery call. Police say the homeowner had just got home from work when he was approached by 2 armed men. The homeowner's wife saw what was happening and called 911. One of the suspects fired one shot into their home during the attempted robbery. Both men fled the area, but officers caught up with Cawley. And as well, if you know anything about the second suspect involved, call the Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers. Cawley's total bond is set at $350,000. Well, it was a Fast and the Furious brought to life on Highway 8 yesterday in Monroe County. Sheriff's deputies arrested 12 men that they say were drag racing on Highway 8. Sheriff Cecil Cantrell says some of the racers are from other counties. He also says they'd been warned. It happened when the men were running challenge matches. That's where drivers agree to race for a certain amount of money. The cars run at speeds of 120 to 140 miles per hour. Most of the men were between the ages of 18 and 25. They are charged with obstruction of a highway. All of the vehicles were towed. The drivers will have to pay a separate fee to have their cars returned. Well, bond is set at $2 million for a repeat offender. Police say he's accused of leaving a drug rehab center and holding an elderly man at knife point. 48-year-old David Todd Johnson was arrested Friday driving the victim's stolen car in Burnsville. Investigators believe Johnson also stole valuables from the elderly man he held at knife point. Lee County Sheriff Jim Johnson says Johnson had cut off his ankle bracelet when he left God's House of Hope Center in Nettleton. The sheriff says law enforcement officers were never notified that Johnson had left.
This is the second ankle bracelet he's cut off. He's still out. He was indicted and convicted as a habitual offender, which should have had him in prison serving day for day, which that hadn't happened. He's violated probation I don't know how many times. And something has got to change to where we feel safer in the community. I know it costs a lot of money, but you know, somebody owes this victim an explanation of why this guy's out.
God's House of Hope Director Amy Shook says the ministry is not a jail and does not force anyone to stay. Shook says ministry officials contacted authorities Friday morning when they realized Johnson had left. She says there are 32 people going through the 6-month faith-based program now. And it is time to get a first look at our afternoon forecast. Here's meteorologist Alex Puckett.
Thanks, Renee. Temperatures in the 80s pretty much area-wide, the exception towards the Tennessee border where we've seen a little bit more cloud cover this morning. But as we get to the afternoon, we'll keep things dry. Nothing showing up on our radar. And lots of sunshine, just a few clouds here and there. Lots of sunshine showing up and blue skies on our Alpha Insurance Skycam in downtown Columbus. That's perfect because it's National Sunglasses Day. So it's going to be a great day to get the sunglasses out, put them on, and enjoy a good bit of sunshine. Temperature's going to top out in the mid to upper 80s this afternoon, but fairly comfortable with low dew points. Renee?
All right, well, maybe not sunglasses, but maybe something to hold your nose for this next bizarre story out of Columbus, where investigators have just finished cleaning up a spill involving frozen catfish parts. Well, with the weather we've been having, after a while, the catfish unthawed. And WCBI's Parker King has the latest on this smelly mess.
Thanks, Renae. I'm here at the intersection of highways 82 and 45 to a site that smells a lot worse than it looks. Just trust me on it, okay? Apparently a catfish truck was going a little too fast on the roundabout and spilt multiple catfish all over the highway, either because the top was not properly covered or because the gate opened up on its own. No word yet on the driver or the whereabouts of the truck. However, authorities are staying until this mess is properly cleaned up. Renee, back to you.
All right, take a shower, Parker. Moving on now, a town hall style meeting is held in Columbus to discuss how to improve the city as a whole. Several Columbus residents came out, including business owners and city leaders. They talked about keeping the crime rate down and continuing to find ways to help the city grow. Those were the two main topics Mayor Robert Smith discussed. The meeting also gave residents a chance to address the mayor and the police chief with some of their concerns. Both residents and city leaders say meetings like this one are vital because they help strengthen community relations.
We talked about the importance of not only just keeping Columbus safe, but growing it to a place that not only we enjoy because we live here and we want to continue to enjoy it, but for other people to come in, to either move into our city and be here to raise their children.
They also discussed plans for the annual Night Out Against Crime block party, which is scheduled for August 1st. Governor Phil Bryant says he's confident about Mississippi's forestry industry despite deep budget cuts handed down from legislators. $2.6 million will be cut from the MFC, as well as the loss of 75 jobs. The 7 districts that make up the Mississippi Forestry Commission will be turned into 4 larger ones. Forestry is a vital part of Mississippi's economy, accounting for almost $13 billion each year. Despite these cuts, Bryant says he believes the industry will remain strong.
We'll get back in the woods. We'll continue our harvesting. We have some amazing sawmills, plywood plants that are here in Mississippi. So not only getting the trees out of the woods, but that value-added processing and export is what we're looking at just now.
The process of the district reorganization is to begin on July 1st. Well, if you pass by Probst Park in Columbus, the writing is on the wall. It's a message the Mississippi Tobacco-Free Coalition is using to take a stand against the city's smoke-free ordinance. The current ordinance allows people to smoke indoors at select locations. However, the coalition wants the ordinance to be upgraded, making the city 100% smoke-free. Area high schoolers spent last night putting the red cups and signs on display. They're using this as a way to educate and protect the community against exposure to secondhand smoke.
500 people each year in Mississippi die from secondhand smoke exposure, so I want to lessen that.
Studies have actually shown the only way to 100% actually help people to become smoke-free and to protect non-smokers is to actually go ahead and have a 100% comprehensive smoke-free ordinance. So we basically have a call to action message in the fence that says, Columbus, let's upgrade. So we're trying to get the community to come together and see what we need to do to go ahead and get this ordinance upgraded to 100% smoke-free ordinance.
The message will remain up for 1 week. The Mississippi Tobacco-Free Coalition will also be doing a contest. They want drivers to snap a picture of the message and post it to Facebook using the hashtag #UpgradeColumbusMississippi. Next on Midday, another Republican has come out against the Senate's health care bill. Find out more after the break. 12 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to Midday. A tough report from the Congressional Budget Office has pushed another Republican to say she cannot support their plan to repeal and replace Obamacare. Weijia Jiang is on Capitol Hill to explain how this impacts the GOP's efforts to get the bill passed quickly.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's plan to vote on the Republican health care bill this week could be in trouble. 6 GOP senators now say they oppose the health care bill as it's currently written. 4 of them won't even vote for a motion to bring the bill up for a formal debate.
I won't vote to proceed to it unless the bill changes.
Maine Senator Susan Collins is the latest holdout because the Congressional Budget Office score shows the bill would hit Medicaid recipients hard. 1 in 5 Maine residents receive Medicaid support, and the CBO projects that under the Republican plan, 15 million people would be forced out of the program by 2026, resulting in a savings of $321 billion. If the vote doesn't happen this week, lawmakers will face their constituents' concerns when they go home for a week-long July 4th holiday break.
You know, the reality of the matter is we better pay attention to people, many of whom feel very disenfranchised in this country.
Ohio Governor John Kasich and Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper represent the states that expanded Medicaid under Obamacare.
We would see a reduction of rough justice 188,000 people in Colorado. More than half of them would be in rural parts of the state.
Groups opposed to the health care bill are running TV ads.
Without Medicaid, she can't manage her diabetes.
Targeting voters in states that helped elect President Trump. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Vice President Mike Pence will be on Capitol Hill today, meeting with reluctant Republicans to push them to vote yes on the bill. He will also host a couple of them for dinner tonight at his residence. Well, next on Midday, some summer scholars will join me live in the studio after the break. Find out more. But first, Alex, how's our weather looking out there?
Looking really nice. Lots of blue skies. Just a few clouds popping up as we go through the rest of the afternoon, but lots of sunshine. But rain returns as we get into the latter half of the week. I'll have details on that coming up next.